Hey, it's Brandi and Cesley, and we're back with Blooming Through Faith, the podcast that helps you grow and bloom in your mindset, lifestyle, health, and wealth. We want you to know that you're capable, beautiful, and worthy.
All right, you guys, today we're going to be talking about your hormones. It's a tricky little word, okay? Your hormone system affects everything, how you sleep, how you feel, your weight gain, mood swings, and all kinds of things. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some things called endocrine disruptors. And these are just chemicals that are found in your food, in your water, in your household products. They disrupt our hormone system. They can lead to all kinds of just significant health issues, and it can be really difficult to navigate around these things. So we're going to talk to you about how to know what could be just interrupting and disrupting your hormone system. And the more that we know as health coaches, the more we want to make sure that we are educating our Glow Girls on just how important it is to take care of our insides so we can glow up in our health and wellness. So we're going to go over some things that you can do to clean up your home, your health, and the things that you consume.
Let's do it. Okay, so not shocking, but the first thing we're going to talk about is your food, okay? All calories are not created equal. We have created a diet culture where protein shakes, bars, quick supplements, all of those things are go-to for losing weight, and we forget about nutritional value, all right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is sugar. All right, we all love sugar, but eating too much leads to some really bad results in our body. For example, the more sugar we eat, the more insulin we have, testosterone, and estrogen. Thankfully, we're not talking about sugar that's in natural fruits, okay? So make sure that's very clear. The sugar in natural fruits is A-okay. The sugar in fruit is healthy for you, and it is not absorbed in the bloodstream because of the fiber in the fruit. However, this is also the reason to avoid fruit juices because the sugar goes straight to the bloodstream, leading to quickly elevated insulin levels, okay? The sugar that we are talking about here is in food items such as flour, brown sugar, fruit juices, and any added sugar, including what we know is bad for us, like junk food, cake, brownies, ice cream, etc. Okay? The reason they are so bad when eating on regular is because they quickly are absorbed by the body, the bloodstream, especially when you eat them all the time, okay? The elevated increasing levels of insulin, estrogen, and testosterone can really affect you.
Yeah, that's a mouthful. But it's really important, I think, because we're not saying we eat sugar, you guys. We're not saying don't ever, nothing is ever a never ever, don't ever do this sort of mentality. But I think that we don't realize how much sugar is in our favorite things. And one thing Brandi said is really, really important. And that is that not all calories are created equal. We have grown up in this diet culture where we're taught that protein bars, protein shakes, all these things. I bet you haven't even read the back of a 100-calorie protein bar that you think is really good for you. You're like, I'll skip lunch and I'll drink this protein shake. And they can be filled with extra sugar. And what you don't realize is it's just messing with your hormones. Your body naturally does some good stuff, right? It naturally regulates. But when you're pumping your body full of all of these fake sugars, it just can't do what it's supposed to do. All right. The second thing that you want to watch out for is dairy and gluten, you guys. I know that these are hot topics right now. Everybody's gluten-free, everybody's dairy-free, everybody's doing these different things. But just from an educated standpoint, we want to tell you that both dairy and gluten can trigger inflammation. So if you're feeling bloated, inflamed, maybe you can't get, I always use my rings as my test. I'm if I can't get my rings on and off, I feel like it's not a good time, right? So when you eat it on a regular basis, it can lead to chronic inflammation. Also, dairy and gluten can lead to a lot of different hormonal imbalances. So if you're feeling out of whack, if you're feeling heavily emotional, you can't ever seem to get your emotions in check, your female cycles are really off, things like this, a lot of that can be issues with your hormones, which can happen from sugar, like Brandi said, and dairy and gluten. You guys might not know this, but a lot of dairy products have artificial hormones in them. So a lot of times dairy farmers will put these growth hormones into the cows it just helps them grow faster. So you have grown-up cows faster, they can make milk faster. They can make milk faster, you make more money, right? So when stuff like that happens, that hormone that goes into them goes into you too. So you got to think
Mm,
about that. So really strive to like look for these things when you're shopping.
mm. So good. And I know for me personally, I've limited gluten and dairy just because I know that I have
Mhm.
IBS. I have the MTHFR gene. I found that out when we did tests after having some losses.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I eat gluten, I swell, I bloat.
Mhm.
And then dairy, it just makes me go to the restroom.
Yeah.
So it's like really not fun.
I learned this in my nutrition courses that most people don't our bodies can't process dairy like
Mhm.
cheese. And I was like, that's not right, right? Like, and I read it
You're
a
like,
few
I love
times. I was
my
like,
queso.
wait a
Please
second,
don't
like
be
I love
cruel.
cheese. How is that possible? And it was like, yeah, your body doesn't know how to naturally process cheese. I was like, oh, great.
Man.
Sweet.
And we're not saying don't do it all the time, but
Yeah.
or don't do, yeah, we are saying don't do it all the time. We are
Yeah.
saying do it sometimes.
Eat
Like,
some cheese. Just don't eat
yeah.
a lot of cheese.
But I
Or if
will
you have
tell
hormone
you,
issues.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I will tell you when you start eliminating those things and you put them back in, your body will
Uh-huh.
never all be the same. But you'll thank us later because you will have less bloating and inflammation and you'll just feel better. You'll have more energy.
Mhm. And I will say, because of my husband and I and like the fertility stuff that we've been going through, I eliminated a lot from my diet, and eliminating gluten from my diet made a huge difference. And I don't think it's necessarily like the actual gluten, but it's that when they make these products, like these bread products and stuff like that, they put so much fake stuff into it that like your body just doesn't know what to do with it. And it's made such a huge difference since I stopped eat. Like I was like, everybody in our house is gluten free. They were like, what? Sorry. It's what's
Oh my
happening.
gosh. I love that so much. Okay, the next one is processed foods. I know this seems
Gross.
like, yeah, it seems like a no-brainer, right? So anything with a high shelf life doesn't live well in your body. High fructose corn syrup is a good example, okay? It was created as an alternative to sugar because of rising sugar costs. Eating it long term leads to high body fat, especially in that belly area. All right. Another example is red dye 40. Experts have said that, yeah, we're about to talk about that. Experts have said that red dye 40 and other fake color dyes causes behavior changes because of the lack of minerals like zinc, iron, and it causes chemical changes in the brain. All right. I will tell you this right
Crazy.
now. If you were like, oh my gosh, blooming do faith, these girls are so crunchy, the red dye. Rah, rah, rah. Listen, if you have a child, like try this. I will tell you, my son, so no, this is what Mitch and his mom said to me. They're like, I'm like, he can't have Doritos, Cheetos, like these M&Ms. And they're like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, no, if Troy has them, his behavior changes. So I was like, watch. He ate some Cheetos and he's like he's literally running around the house like a whole different person. And they both looked at me
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, this might be the same. And then what I always hear all the time is, oh, we were fine. We were fine. We ate McDonald's when we were a kid. We ate all those processed foods when we were a kid. Yeah, we did, but things have changed. If you
Yeah.
look at the ingredients from when
Yes.
we were kids to where it is now, it is completely different. And some of these things are banned in other countries.
It's so important. And what you just said is so important and makes me so hot because literally the food, like if you go and look at any fast food restaurant and really break down, because they have their nutritional facts out there for you to find. And if you go and look it up, the way that they used to make these foods is not the way that they make them now. So you have to remember, like, now foods are created because all these artificial things didn't exist. These things that make food cheaper to buy, like even high fructose corn syrup, it was cheaper alternative to sugar. Back then, they didn't have the alternative. They invented it. Like things like red dye and stuff. All of this was invented more recently to make food cheaper, to make it more colorful, to make it more attractive. Like I went and shopped we went to the pool and I was trying to find some healthy snacks because I did not pack ahead of time. And I went to some grocery store right next to the pool and walked in, and my son loves pickles. You know, all teenagers, they love those like little pickles in a bag. I went and picked up this bag and I read the back of it, and there's yellow dye in in this bag of pickles. And I was like, why do pickles need dye in that? Like, what is the purpose of this? And it's just because it makes it
Exactly.
look better longer. So it has a longer shelf life. Like, the food we eat now is not like the food that we ate before. You have to read the packaging. So
Mhm.
on that same note, okay, we're going to tell you how to fix it. Okay. So if you're thinking about grocery shopping, right, really look for things like we talked about the dairy, look for things with no added hormones specifically on the label, okay? Because if you're buying things that they have given the animals the hormone and it's not something that they fed them, it's something that they maybe injected, they don't have to put that on the packaging. But if somebody specifically says no added hormones, that means that they have not added any hormones into it. Try and stick with mainly, I know we've talked about this before, but it's really important that you avoid most of the processed foods. If you want to feel better, if you want to heal your hormone system, avoid processed stuff. Really check the back of your packaging. If it's got stuff you can't pronounce on it, don't buy it. Like I repeat, if you can't pronounce the words, it's not good for you, okay? Make
Mhm.
sure the processing is minimal. Really stick to your meats, your fruits, your veggies. If you're unsure about something, y'all, Google is free 99, okay? Just check the Google machine, all right? You can look up any ingredient and it'll tell you exactly what it is. I was unsure about something the other day that I was buying in a snack for my kid. Turns out it was like a binding agent that they use to make the food just last longer on the shelf, and it's also used in hospitals to help people like go to the bathroom. And I just was
Mm.
thinking like, this is in my kid's like fruit snack. I'm not buying this. So just really try to read and research, okay? Try to make sure that you're avoiding plastics in your packaging. Just because it looks healthy doesn't mean it isn't. All right. Just make sure that you're doing your research on this stuff.
That's so good. So crazy. Like all this stuff too,
Gross.
guys, that we're telling you about can cause a lot of harm in the future. All right. Now we're saying like hormone disruptors and like X, Y, and Z, but also think about cancer. Like for real,
Yeah.
guys, this is really, really serious. And think about how you're feeding your children, right? And like you want to live a long life. You want to be here to see your kiddos have, kiddos and great grandchildren. So it's just so powerful to know what you're putting in your body and being mindful.
Mhm.
All right. So certain pesticides, yeah, we're going to talk about pesticides, have been linked to hormone disruption as well. All right. So eat organic food as much as you can afford to. As a general rule of thumb, try to eat food that is as close to whole as possible. All right. Like a whole roasted chicken instead of processed chicken nuggets. Really consider how you prepare your food as well. Right. So cook in stainless steel or cast iron instead, all right? Instead of like the non-stick nasty pots and
Yeah.
pans and stuff,
I
right?
watched them do this test on those the other day.
Mhm.
I don't know where. I don't know if it was like an educational website or something on like TikTok, but they did this cooking side by side, and a whole bunch of the stuff from the nonstick pan ended up in people's food and they were eating it. And I was like, I don't know that I want that in my body.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Mm-mm.
Guys, oh,
It's
make
gross.
a decision to invest in your health financially, all right? So like you can pay now or you can pay later, right? You can invest and pay a little bit more with money now, or you can pay with your health later, like we were talking about. Maybe make sure you're not eating out as much or avoid
Yeah.
different things so that you can buy healthier option food. And since we're kind of talking about pesticides and stuff like that, like when you are getting your fruits and vegetables, make sure you're
Wash
cleaning
them.
them, okay?
Mhm.
Wash them. What I do is I just put I put water, vinegar, and a little bit of baking soda, mix it up, put my fruits in there, veggies, and then let it sit for 10 minutes and then wash it off. Okay.
Yeah. I do. If you have a friend that sells oils, everybody sells something. If you have a friend that sells oils, I bet you they sell a really great wash too for it. I have
Mm,
some wash that one of my friends was selling and I was like, this works great. Cause when I started washing my vegetables in it, I was like, why is so much nasty stuff coming
so
out?
gross.
It's so gross.
That was another one of those things where Mitch is like, I'll just rinse it off with water. It's fine. I'm like,
Not fine.
no.
Everything's trying to kill you. It's fine. We're going to talk about it. Okay. Let's move on. We're going to talk about your home. Okay. We talked about your food. Let's talk about your home. So, we really do want to help you glow up in all aspects of your life. I know this is a little bit more of a health related episode that we're doing, but it is such an important topic. So, in your home, The bad news is that synthetic chemicals are like everywhere in your home. They're one of the biggest disruptors of your endocrine system. So, like, so many fertility issues, things like that, health issues, early menopause. Like, a lot of women these days are going into early perimenopause because of the things in our homes. Like, you don't realize how much affects you. So, if you can change even just a couple of things, imagine what it can do for your body. So, a lot of our chemicals that we're exposed to daily, we're really vulnerable. I can say words. We're really vulnerable
Mhm.
to these, especially you guys in phases of like accelerated development. So I'm talking about like through childhood. How many of you guys have kids and you're using artificial scents in a lot of your cleaners and things like that? Like, they do affect development. They've done tons and tons of studies that show that they affect children's development. They affect your brain development. They affect like you as you're growing and developing. So there's a small window of like when your brain is growing, your liver is growing, all of these hormone disrupting chemicals, they get in the way during that process. And that's when, like Brandi was talking about, you see a lot of these cancers later on in life that have been just staying and living in your body from a time when you were really young. So make sure that you're paying attention to the synthetic chemicals that are throughout your house.
So good. The next thing we're going to talk about is fragrances. And this one is a hard one for me. So, back to my MTHFR gene, I realize I don't detox chemicals and heavy metals because of that. And my kids are the same way. And you can see kind of like if they've been exposed a lot, like little things under their eyes. Anywho's, so I decided to make a change. And we're going to kind of talk about some of those things now. All right, guys, now we're going to talk about fragrances. All right. The word fragrance on a label means there are hundreds of ingredients, and the exact formulas of most companies' claims are trade secrets. Okay. So most of these chemicals can disrupt your hormones. Here's the deal. Simply choose fragrance-free creams, cleaning products, and laundry detergents. That is such a big one. People don't even think about, right? Cleaning products, laundry detergents. There's a lot of good options out there. And you can reach out to Cesley and I because we have made the change. We have better options in our house that doesn't contain a lot of chemicals and toxins. Like I was mentioning earlier about my MTHFR gene, my body does not detox heavy metals and chemicals like others do. And I know that my sons probably carry the same thing. So I am very mindful of the shampoo they use, the shower gel they use, the cleaning spray in our home. I used to be a really big candle girly, like obsessed. And now I opt in for healthier, I'd say better choice candles.
It is
And
healthier.
It is healthier. And then also, like Cecily was saying, essential oils, right? Has their friendly girl next door that sells essential oils, right? But get yourself some. Instead of the candles that I used to have all around the house, I now have like the little oil holders that have the water and stuff. What are they called? Humidifiers?
I don't know. They're like steamers, misters, diffusers.
Diffusers, yeah.
They're diffusers.
Diffusers. All right, so I have quite a few of
Obviously,
them around
we don't
the house.
sell oils.
Apparently, no, we don't, but we have an oil girly. But I have one in my room. I have one in the office, and I actually, smell is really big for me because I'm like blind and deaf, right? So that's like my biggest sins, which is probably why I loved Bath and Body Works for so long. But then when I realized the chemicals that are in all of those things, I was like, yeah, no, I want to take care of myself, my family, and make sure that we don't have all that crap in our house. Also, check ingredient labels on other things to see where fragrance hides. All right. It can show up in unexpected places, such as diapers. Okay. Anybody's with babies, garbage bags. So just look for safer ways of freshening up your indoor space. We just talked about the oils, open windows, use fans, yeah, different things like that. All right. Let's see. You can also turn natural fresh scents like fresh flowers on the kitchen counter, citrus peels, all that kind of fun stuff to really help. And also, you can put a box of baking soda in the fridge.
Yeah. The good thing about this day and age, yes, we hate that there are so many things around us that are just trying to ruin our endocrine system. Like, there are more cases now than ever of miscarriages. Like, we've talked about our own personal experience, fertility issues, women going into early menopause, things like that. And a lot of it is just our environment. And it's crazy to think about that.
Let's talk about tampons for a second. Did
Yes.
anybody know that tampons have arsenic in it? Like, what are we even talking? We have been
It's
putting those
crazy.
in our
Things
vajayjay.
you're putting it in your body. In your body. Yeah.
And if you didn't know that, you're welcome. You're welcome. What is that main what is it? Tampax? Get rid of your Tampax. Get rid of your Tampax
And even
find
research the brands that look clean because
because
it's
that's some
called
BS too.
greenwashing. Okay. There's this BS of all these companies, even your cleaning products, greenwashing. Just because it looks green and organic does not mean it's good for you. They did a whole like expose on these tampons that were all the same. They just changed their packaging. I was using one of them. I was like,
What is
so clean.
100%. What is so messed up with this world is that it is all about money. No, like nobody cares anymore about taking care of they don't care if you die. They don't care if you get cancer.
No.
They want you to like big pharma. Like, let's not even get into that because that's for another podcast. But listen, girlies, get rid of your Tampax. Okay.
We're going to do a whole episode on all of our conspiracy theories. We'll keep you posted. All right. We might have half the listeners on that one. They'll be like, this wasn't crazy.
Y'all are crazy.
Okay. So let's talk about our last one we want to talk about is just your body. All right. Seems pretty simple, but it's kind of just an overlap of everything we've already gone over. Okay. What you put on your body soaks into your body. I know that seems crazy. That's a wild idea, but like what you put on your face, you put makeup on your face, guess what? It soaks into your body. If you look at your face at the end of the day, and maybe you didn't use primer, okay? And you're like, where's all my makeup? It soaked into your face. It didn't just rub off. It's in your body now, okay? Same thing with fragrances, y'all. Lotions and deodorants. Deodorant is a huge proponent of negative effects in women's bodies because it's just soaking into the most sensitive parts of your body. So really, if you are someone who struggles with hormonal issues, endocrine system issues, so that's just anything that affects your hormone system, make sure you're checking your lotions and deodorants. Check your tanning supplies. This was a huge one for me. So I'm a big self-tanning girl. I used to put it on every single day after I got a shower. I read the back of the ingredients and I'm like, oh, that's going into my body. It's fake color. So there are other options. Just do your research. And trust me when I say these things are maybe a couple dollars more because you do pay for the quality. So you have to think about that. If this is something that you want in your life, on your body, fake eyelashes, all kinds of makeup, things like that. Like, we're not saying don't do it. Like, girl, look your best, girl. Okay.
I mean, I'm never getting rid of my fake eyelashes.
Yeah. Look your best. Nails. When you go to get your nails done, tons of chemicals, but you can choose which version of that is going to be better for your body. Do your research. So really look at the back of like your tanning supplies, your makeup, your shampoos and conditioner that's soaking into your scalp. Like your dry shampoos, check your dry shampoo.
Oh yeah,
Look at
that's
the
another one.
ingredients. Do your research. There's a lot of natural alternatives and there's a lot of things out there that are so much safer than what you're probably using for maybe $1 more. Like I promise you, you go to the grocery store and you compare these things and 9 times out of 10, we go for the cheaper option. But if you were to actually look at them, it's maybe $1 more and it's something that's going to make you feel better, something that's going to change your life and change your family's life. So it's absolutely worth it, you guys. So we've kind of gone through the full spectrum. We've given you guys a lot of information today. We have explored how everyday chemicals and environmental factors can really interfere with our hormones and impacting our health and well-being. So
we are going to help you guys combat these hormone disruptors and live a cleaner, healthier life. So we've already given you quite a few tips, but we're going to go over, recap some and give you some other ones. Okay. So first and foremost, choose natural products. Opt for personal care and cleaning products that are free from synthetic chemicals and disruptors. Okay. Look for the labels that indicate that they're free from, You think I'm going to say parabens? Is that the right word? Did you think? I just I'm like, what just happened here?
We're just gonna say you can say parabens.
I just said it, but I wasn't sure.
Okay, we're just gonna skip the next word because that was hard. Okay, we have to start that over again because that was okay.
So you start where we've explored, and then we'll go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've explored how everyday chemicals and environmental factors can interfere with our hormones and our endocrine system, potentially impacting our health and well-being.
So, guys, to combat these hormone disruptors and live a cleaner, healthier life, consider these practical steps. One, choose natural products. Opt for personal care and cleaning products that are free of synthetic chemicals and disruptors. Look for labels that indicate that they're free from parabens and synthetic fragrances. Two, be mindful of plastics. Reduce your use of plastic containers, especially for food, beverages. Instead, use glass, stainless steel, and other safer alternatives. And just on like a different note, my aunt got breast cancer and she swears it was because of the plastic bottles that she left. Like she would drink plastic water all the time and she left it in her car with the heat. And she swears that that's what caused it. But I'm just throwing that out there. 3, eat organic whenever possible. Organic fruits and vegetables also often have fewer pesticides, okay? Washing produce can also help reduce your exposure of chemicals like we already talked about.
Yeah. Make sure too that you're avoiding the nonstick cookware. We've talked about this and the ick factor. It contains chemicals that leaks into food. Guys, they have done studies and companies have paid out millions of dollars for people getting sick from these things. These are proven things. So opt for stainless steel, cast iron, ceramic cookware instead. You guys, if you don't have the budget for it, like hop on over to the Goodwill and go check. Like just go check, go look garage sales. There's lots of places where you can find these things, okay? Make sure you're filtering your water. Invest in a water filter to remove potential contaminants and chemicals. They have ones that can go in smaller bottles, like the Brita ones in your fridge. You can get a larger one that just kind of sits on your counter. Just make sure that you're being very careful about the water that you're drinking. Make sure you filter your water. And then also, we want you to make sure that you're supporting your body naturally. So focus on a balanced diet. Think about whole foods. Don't just grab the diet friendly option just because you're used to it. Okay. Avoid those like icky protein bars and things like that. Really try to focus on whole foods, staying hydrated, and managing your stress through exercise, all the relaxation techniques we've talked about in the past.
That's so good. And also with the water filters, you can get water filters for your shower. Actually, you know what I think we should do, Cecily? And we're just doing all the things. So, we might not update our website as much as we like or our
We're gonna
Instagram,
update it.
but we're going to get better. Okay. We are going to get better for you, Grow Girls. Okay. But that being said, with all of these things that we're talking about in this episode, we will give you links. Okay. Links to a good water filter for your shower, for your home, links for great cookware, right? It might not happen in the next week or so, but that is on our to-do list to do for you guys. So it's easy to find some of these things that we're talking about. Okay. Ladies, by making these mindful choices, you can reduce your exposure to hormone disruptors and promote a healthier lifestyle. Remember, small changes can make a big difference over time. So you don't have to go out and change everything, maybe one thing at a time. Stay informed, stay empowered, and take steps towards a cleaner, healthier life. Make sure to follow, subscribe, leave a review, and share with others who might benefit. And remember, you are beautiful, you are capable, and you are worthy. And we can't wait to watch you grow, girl.